All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us again for Chamber Chat. This week, we are pleased to have the owner of Shots and Sprockets, Mike Jennis. Mike, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Jason.
Appreciate you taking the time. If you would, tell us a little bit about Shots and Sprockets. What's your business story? How'd you get started?
Well, about 10, 12 years ago, my wife and I were down in the Bay Area, and we'd gone to grab a coffee on a Saturday or a Sunday. And my favorite bike shop was right across the street from the coffee shop. And as we were sitting there having a coffee, we just kept seeing people wandering back and forth. And I thought, well, why isn't there a coffee shop, bike shop anywhere? And we looked around the Bay Area, and there really wasn't anything, at least not close to us. So it kind of started the ball rolling with the idea of the coffee shop, bike shop. So as time kind of progressed, we couldn't find the right place to put it down there, and life got in the way with kids, and so it sat on the back burner for a little while. And then my wife accepted a position at a company up here in Seattle, and it was a good time to make a break. And I left the industry that I was in, and we took a little bit of time off. I helped raise the kids, make sure they were doing what they were supposed to do and getting to softball and baseball practices, and started the ball rolling on the mobile service of Shots and Sprockets.
Very cool. And you're a busy person. I've witnessed it personally many times that a lot of people love what you do, including me. I've used your services more than once, and I appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
So why Magnolia? Why did you choose Magnolia as the place where you could open up shop and so forth?
It's funny, when we moved up here, that was a question that people said is, why are you going to Magnolia? It's way over there. Having lived in the Bay Area, way over there is a whole different animal to me. I had a 2-hour commute to work every morning, and sometimes it was 5 hours getting home. So, 30 minutes to get across the city to Magnolia isn't really much of an issue for me. And when we moved here, we really fell in love with the area, the people, the street we live on. There's got to be 14 kids, all within my children's age group. It's
Wow.
Just a very friendly, it's just a wonderful part of Seattle. It's almost like you took a little chunk out of the Midwest and dropped it out here. And, it has been a very welcoming environment for us. When we have the farmers market, I'm parked down there at the farmers market. I got a lot of really good feedback. And I had people, and have had people for years, ask me why I didn't open in Magnolia. And certainly since we do live here, it just seemed like the right spot, since there was no longer a bike shop like ours in Magnolia. It was something that was missing. And we've been really well received since opening the shop.
I can imagine. I was thrilled when I got word that you're opening right here. And it's such a great area that you're in, too.
It is. Being next to Seven Hills is fantastic. Phil is wonderful. And it's kind of, we're turning this little area into kind of just a fun place. We've got bikes and running shoes, and the park's right there. And it's just a good starting spot. And we have people starting bike rides from out in front of the shop now, and starting runs from out in front of the shop. And so it has been really fun.
That's awesome. So I can imagine there's many reasons, but what would you say are some of the reasons you love what you do, your industry?
I spent years in the construction industry, and in very high-end construction. And as much as I love that, there got to be a time where I started feeling very empty doing it. As much as I really enjoyed the people I worked with, the clients, the designers, architects, the company that I worked for, I loved it. But when you start feeling empty about what you do, I think you need to start looking for something new. I'd worked on my bikes since I was young enough to lose my dad's tools. And it seemed like the right thing to do. When you go for a bike ride, you're in a better mood when you come back. Physiologically, there are changes that happen to your body, and you just are in a better mood. I rarely see people on bikes that are out for a cruise on a Sunday that are angry. And the thing that I love most about what I do is, though my name may not be remembered, I've taken off a dozen sets of training wheels off of little kids' bikes, and the look that a child gets when all of a sudden they're completely free. It's this freedom, and bikes are the first bit of freedom that any of us have ever had, right? And you take training wheels off some kid's bike, and all of a sudden they get to experience that freedom and that joy. And you look at their face and they're just so ecstatic, and they're doing something they've really tried hard to do, and these training wheels have come off, and look, I'm riding and I can do it myself. And that look of accomplishment on a kid's face is really priceless. I think every time I do that, I think back to my kids and when they took that step and learned how to ride a bike without training wheels. And it's a little selfish on my part, because I do love that. I absolutely love that, just watching that accomplishment. And to me, I love working on bikes, and I love being around people that enjoy just out doing things and riding. It's to me, it's very refreshing to be around that. And it was certainly a change, from what I had been doing. And it's the best thing I've ever done. Just the reception, the joy that you get to give people, and just being able to, help, be of service to people that respect and enjoy the service.
Wow. Man, so much what you talked about resonates in my own life. I think of, I think it was an Evil Knievel bike when I was a kid, and, hopping on that with my Walkman cassette player with my mixtape, and just going for hours. And, fast forward a few years, and now it's a 30-mile round trip to Alki Beach with podcasts in my ear, and there's not many things better than that.
No. I do miss the wind in my hair, but
oh, it's still in the wind. It's just not with you.
Yeah.
As I can attest to. So, Mike, before we leave, if you would remind people where to find you physically, and also your website, any social media accounts you have, so they can follow you.
Thanks. We are at 3139 West Government Way. We're right next to Seven Hills Running, right outside of Discovery Park. That's our physical address. I do have a van and can be scheduled online, where we can come on out and do services and fittings at homes also. That is at shotsandsprockets.com. You can do all the scheduling through that. We're on Facebook. You can schedule through Facebook also, and on Instagram.
Awesome. Such a pleasure to catch up with you, Mike. Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks, Jason.
Take care.